and she said twice as good. And his response was, you have to be twice as good as them to get half of what they have. And that's something that I know has been put into my mindset, my work ethic from school until now, where I'm a person who is trying to navigate my career and continually trying to, grow in my career and grow up that corporate ladder, and being a mother, the principles that I instill in my children. But my reasoning for wanting to have the conversation around this topic is, yeah, it's beneficial. That mindset for sure. I tell my kids, don't half-ass nothing. Like, no, if you're going to do it, you know that your teacher is expecting something of you. Please do those things. At work, I know that my boss is expecting something of me. I don't ever want anybody to outwork me. But what are the, excuse me, negative repercussions that we have to deal with when we're, constantly grinding? We don't give ourselves the opportunities to fail. And failing is a part of the process. So I want to ask y'all, I have a very specific point that I want to talk to, but I want to ask you guys specifically, as women, as Black women, as Black mothers, as Black millennials, all the titles that y'all have, because it's layer upon layer,
Yep.
who Eastern Shore, Black women, mothers, corporate America, millennial, all of those things. What's your approach to that mindset when you know that it's expected of us to show up a certain way, and if you show up less than that, there is that feeling that you won't be accepted or taken seriously, so to speak. So yeah, let me know.
So I think that it's mentally and emotionally draining if we just start with how you feel. The fatigue sets in, and I don't think that it goes away. I think that we are able to try to like reset. Like honestly, by the time it's the weekend, I'm ready for, like, I have to have a reset. But I think that it's important to do that, because otherwise you're not going to be able to give that 110% every, you just can't. You are a person. But I think that the other thing that makes it challenging is because it's greater than just being outworked. There are so many other things that come along with it. We're looking at, we touched on it before. We're thinking about, how does my hair look? How do my
Mm-hmm.
clothes look? What is my vernacular? Like how are all those things being interpreted? And no matter how much you try to fit into that mold, there's still someone who is going to be looking at you
Right.
like the young little Black girl in corporate America. And really, that's all that you'll ever be to them. You are greater than that, but you can't change everyone. So I think that's the part that makes it challenging, because sometimes, even when you're in meetings, you can't just speak off the cuff. You feel like you have to know so much more and be ready to combat all of the questions that people have for you. And it takes away from just the ability to be able to learn and grow and make mistakes. And every time that you do make a mistake, it feels like it's the end of the world. It feels deflating. And I think that's where it's important to make sure that the people around you are able to keep you straight, like, because sometimes you're not perfect. You're going to mess up, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to miss that email that you got a week ago that you didn't say anything about, and now someone's sending you the, hey, just wanted to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. We all do it. I think that kind of the same way that you talked about, I try to make sure that if I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to go in there, I'm not going to half-ass it. And it's the same thing that I tell the kids. I don't care what you want to be when you grow up. That is your decision. I am not here to run your life. I am here to support you. But whatever you do, I want you to do it in greatness. I don't want you
Mm-hmm.
to just show up halfway, meh. No, no. Show up and show out. So if you want to be a barber, okay, cool. But own the barbershop. At some point in time, I need you to have more than the chair. I need you to pull up and you need to own the barbershop and be having people under you who have the chair. So it's definitely tough. I mean, we can do it. We don't have any other choice but to be great. That's the only way that you're ever going to excel in corporate America. But whew, sometimes you gotta take that cape off. You
Mm-hmm.
just do.
No, I definitely agree. And I think for me, with my mindset, I remember, just growing up, like my grandma would play this song all the time, like 99 and a half won't do. And it's a church song, but it also works in life too. You have to, 99 and a half is not going to do. You need 100% or more, especially being a Black professional in general, and then being a Black female professional. Like all those titles that Toya gave us, like we don't get to clock out. When we have a job, and our job, let's say, is 8 to 4:30, you know what? Sometimes 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock is going to work because they're looking at your work ethic and they're like, oh, well, she just clocks in, clocks out, gets a check and move on. Then once we are able to take a step back, then we have to be mother. We have to be, wife. We have to be, we're a part of other different groups where they expect those, the same level of excellence because we give it, and everything else they expect it from us a million other times. And it is 100% exhausting because I feel as though, you can close your eyes and go to sleep every single night, but you're not really getting rest because as women, we're always having a list going on in our head. We never get to really ever just to breathe and just to say nothing is going on. So definitely our work ethic, it speaks volumes. It just lets us know that I like to think that we help keep things running, just because we're able to balance things. But I also would like to think that I don't have to put that pressure on myself, but I don't think I can ever just like be okay with it. And that's the part that sucks. Even when it comes down to, like you said, with me, speaking to those and who are in the meetings or even in emails, I could be on an email with a whole bunch of people and my white counterpart can be like, yep, that's good. No, First of all, I was shocked when they did it, but me, I'm like, oh yes, this sounds, I have to have this whole dissertation just to say yes.
Right.
But it's crazy, but I think that when you look a certain way and it's because you have Black skin and that you're a woman, you have to be 100 every single time. So you can't sit in meetings and be silent, because I'm definitely the type to be like, if I don't like it, I'm quiet and y'all can handle it yourselves. I can't do that in meetings in a professional setting because now I'm either the angry Black woman, or maybe she's not, as educated as us because she didn't want to speak up. So it's just it's too much.
Or people will say you don't care.
Or I don't care. And I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, half the time I don't care. I hope y'all fall on y'all face and you learn, because I probably said this a few weeks back. But it's like sometimes
We
just
talked
like,
about being a team player.
yeah. I okay.
We
I
talked
would be
about this shit.
I was a team player a few weeks ago when I said, yeah, y'all, that's not gonna work. And I'm just waiting for y'all to say, oh, maybe we should do that. Oh, I have the email for you. Let me forward it to you, and these are the steps we need to take. But I'm present in the meeting. It's not like I didn't show up. I'm there. That might be the time where I had the 99 and a half, but that 0.5, y'all gonna earn it because y'all pissed me off. But yeah, but I mean, I don't think I can ever just half-ass things. It's not,
Yeah.
it stresses me out, my anxiety level, even just being as a parent. When I feel as though I could have did something better to benefit my child and I don't get that full result that I expect, like my expectations of things are ridiculous compared to other people. And some people are just okay with how it came out half-assed. Me, not so much.
Oh,
So,
yeah. That's something that I completely understand, and thank you for that. I know we are constantly battling against our expectations versus everyone else's expectations. Not so much as if we should lower our expectations, but like kind of like, fuck wrong with y'all,
right.
Like,
Right.
like, what are y'all doing? Both of y'all were like, right at the same time. It's like, what are y'all doing? And it is a stressful,
And
it's a very stressful space to be in because, yeah, it's like, huh? They just going with the flow. But as far as my career is concerned, and I know for sure, like, and this is apart from anything that I've ever like poured all of my all into. But when I've taken time, I'm thinking about when I was in college and I was a little bit reckless. There were opportunities when we all had a little bit too much fun, and I could have been wiped clean off the map, but I'm still here.
Facts.
So clearly a nigga got something that she's supposed to do.
Right.
Okay. let me try and figure out what that is.
Right.
And it's difficult. Jen, you talked about the emails, and that's something that is a pet peeve of mine, because I will get emails blindly forwarded to me. And I'm looking at the email trail and I'm going to read it and I'm going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get there like, well, I can figure out what I'm supposed to do here, but it would be nice if you, a person in the same organization as I,
Mm-hmm.
with the same goals and objectives as I to continue to be able to have this job and have this company,
Mm-hmm.
would tell me what you want me to do here.
Correct.
But when I'm forwarding the email on, I'm saying, hey, blah, 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 blah. Can you please do X, Y, Z? As if I'm going into that, like you said, a dissertation of sorts. And it's like, what's wrong with y'all? Where did y'all come from? So, and that's within our community, and and I think they've taken that on. The biggest part of the mindset of working, twice as hard to get half as much as our counterparts do. My conversation is that, like I said, we don't get the opportunity to fail, which that is a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The Tads and the Chads, they get to have less than admirable spaces. Like I went to a PWI and there was frat row, and when as a Black person you think about frats, you think about Kappas, Qs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You think
right.
you think about a certain amount of frats, okay? No, it was goofy letters floating all around at the PWI. Don't even. Oh, I didn't mention alphas. My stepdad is alphas. Yeah, y'all. But like none of that was happening. So frat row was, white boys, white boying.
Polo shirts.
And there were niggas jumping up, and y'all know I use nigga fluidly. Niggas jumping off the roof, keg partying all day. There's one particular guy who went to my university undergrad, and while I was in my senior year, he started dating a girl who was working at the same retail store that I was working at.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept telling her, like, be careful with him, because I see him on campus. She didn't go to our school.
Right.
She lived in a couple counties over. She was younger than us. Be careful with him. This man had a sex scandal, a coke addiction, a side baby.
No.
Like his parents covered it all up. He is in a top tier position at a large investment firm in the United States right now. And I'd be fucking confuzzled. Like,
exactly.
This man just showed up.
Look at the president.
Child. Like,
we don't even got generational wealth. Mommy
45 don't get no shine over here. But yet it is a very true statement. I'm not trying to condone any of those behaviors.
Correct.
But I'm telling my son right now, going into high school, as we were talking about, I know that in the winter, basketball might not be there. That's your sport. I need you to take back on soccer so that you can have something on your transcripts for 9th grade, because we need to pile your transcript so you can be where you need to be.
Right. And
I understand that I'm putting so much, but I've told her, I said, Manny, these next 4 years are going to be heavy. But he's used to me saying certain things to him. But at the same time, I step back and I'm like, yo, am I setting him up for some type of inadvertent failure? Because it might hit him later on in life in the form of depression, addiction, or just never ever feeling worthy. Have there been any instances in your life where you like worked really, really hard and then were hit with that imposter syndrome, so to speak, where like, yo, I really worked hard to get here, but I still don't think I belong here because of the people who are around you? Or it was just like, oh, I'm a legacy kid, or oh, my dean, or oh, my Girl Scout leader did a recommendation, some goofy, something that
right.
you just didn't have, not the Girl Scouts, okay, but something that you didn't have access to. Yeah, there you go. Something that you may not have had access to, someone who was higher up in ranks. They just got somebody to sign a letter. not to say that we don't have that within our community, but it isn't as prevalent. Have you guys experienced